A lot to follow, so be patient with us as we move throughout this morning of headlines from overseas and how they ricochet back here at home to the White House, to the State Department, and also to the campaign trail in Jacksonville, Florida. Screen right, Mitt Romney set to appear in a matter of moments. Screen left, that's the State Department. Hillary Clinton said to deliver a statement in a matter of moments.
Throughout this campaign, of course, because as Carl has just been saying, everybody wants to know what kind of foreign policy response we would see from the president, and also what we would see from a potential President Mitt Romney in that situation as well. So, Carl, obviously this is a moment for Mitt Romney to appear presidential.
Criticism. However, he has to make sure that he doesn't sort of contribute to any disunity in the U.S. The idea that this is a blanket national repudiation of the violence is something that Mr. Romney will clearly stand by. His criticism of Mr. Obama will presumably hear for his volunteers, and then we hope when he'll talk to reporters thereafter, Martha.
We're seeing a little bit of movement now at the State Department. Perhaps Hillary Clinton comes out. Carl, don't leave us yet. Go back to the statement from last night when he used the word disgraceful. That's in the middle of a number of events that are yet to be taking place overseas.
An American at the time, or perhaps someone else who was working there. But besides that, what Romney's criticism was essentially revolves around the Cairo embassy statement that said that the U.S. deplores the type of rhetoric and information contained in what is essentially a movie.
And Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have been pushed later. You can imagine, Bill, that there is a bit of thinking, discussing, and scrambling to some extent as everybody tries to absorb what has happened, wanting to appear very strong in his response, Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney as well.
So there are two major by a mob. They scaled the walls, they mounted the walls rather, they went over the top. Ripping apart a large handmade American in Washington after a long road trip overseas during the Democratic convention that concluded and got underway last week in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hillary Clinton is on deck. Mitt Romney is on deck. In 35 minutes, so too is President Obama.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Armed militants assaulted the compound and set fire to our buildings. This is not easy. Today, many Americans are asking, indeed, I asked myself, how could this happen? How could this happen in a country we helped liberate, in a city we helped save from destruction? This question reflects just how complicated and at times how confounding the world can be. But we must be clear-eyed even in our grief. We are working closely with the Libyan authorities to move swiftly and surely. We are also working with partners around the world to safeguard other American embassies, consulates, and citizens. May God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
A very strong, very personal statement.
Commander-in-Chief, but this is an opportunity for him to show his ability to deal with those things, and there you see him now.
Good morning. Americans woke up this morning with tragic news and felt heavy hearts as they considered that individuals who have served in our diplomatic corps were brutally murdered across the world. This attack on American individuals and embassies is outrageous. It's disgusting. It breaks the hearts of all of us who think of these people who have served during their lives the cause of freedom and justice and honor. We also believe the administration was wrong to stand by a statement sympathizing with those who had breached our embassy in Egypt instead of condemning their actions. It's never too early for the United States government to condemn attacks on Americans and to defend our values. The White House distanced itself last night from the statement, saying it wasn't cleared by Washington. And that reflects the mixed signals they're sending to the world. The attacks in Libya and Egypt underscore that the world remains a dangerous place and that American leadership is still sorely needed. In the face of this violence, America cannot shrink from the responsibility to lead. American leadership is necessary to ensure that events in the region don't spin out of control. We cannot hesitate to use our influence in the region to support those who share our values and our interests. Over the last several years,
you spoke out before midnight when all the facts weren't known. How would you have handled this differently than the president did?
I spoke out when the key fact that I referred to was known, which was that the Embassy of the United States issued what appeared to be an apology for American principles. That was a mistake. And I believe that when a mistake is made of that significance, you speak out.
So how would you have handled it?
Governor Romney.
About 3 or 4 minutes in the statement, and the questions that
Garden. He will talk about the murder of 4 Americans at the U.S. Embassy in Libya.
We'll see. The Romney campaign, I think, was hoping that this would be a time that they could differentiate.
And here comes
we'll see if they've
President Obama, Brett, and he is with Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State. Let's listen.
Since our founding, the United States has been a nation that respects all faiths. We reject all efforts to denigrate the religious beliefs of others. As Americans, let us never, ever forget that our freedom is only sustained because there are people who are willing to fight for it, to stand up for it, and in some cases, lay down their lives for it. Our country is only as strong as the character of our people and the service of those, both civilian and military, who represent us around the globe. Thank you. May God bless the memory of those we lost, and may God bless the United States of America.
Mr. President, was this an act of war?
All right, the president not taking any questions after that.
And that American leadership is still sorely needed. In the face of this violence, America cannot shrink from the responsibility to lead. American leadership is necessary to ensure that events in the region don't spin out of control.